Hey guys, it's time to talk about last night's episode of The Originals. Now this show has already been fantastic this season, but I feel like this episode just took it up another level. I mean, like when I got to the end of the episode and I was like, oh my god, it's gonna end. No, don't end there! I may have screamed at my television because the cliffhanger was kind of painful. So yeah, I can't wait for next week so we can actually kind of see what's gonna happen. But let's talk about this week's episode. A large part of the episode was in flashback mode. We finally see that moment when Michael gets to New Orleans and tries to kill his children, namely Klaus. Now for a moment, let's flash back to the present. You know, at the end of last week, Elijah actually tells Marcel and Rebecca to run, right? And so at one point we see the two of them in a car, sitting at the crossroads and trying to figure out what they're gonna do. But really, they decide that their best bet is to go back to New Orleans. Really? That's the best plan we could come up with? I don't know about that. Marcel really doesn't want to leave Davina, and he has come up with this like elaborate plan by where he and Rebecca resurrect Davina, who can then do a cloaking spell so that they can actually hide from Klaus. So they end up going back. They do end up getting Davina. They do end up killing some of the witches, and she does end up getting resurrected. I was a little confused by the whole resurrected Davina, but my guess is that happened because Celeste died, and so that power got released back to where it was supposed to go, and the harvest is actually gonna happen. I'm guessing we're gonna see some other witches raised from the dead as well. So back to the flashback time. You know, during the whole episode, you really have Klaus kind of telling Cammy this story of when their father came to town and basically ruined everything that they had built. I think the biggest thing that I got from the flashbacks, which I absolutely loved, I loved seeing that. I loved seeing how kind of dysfunctional their family is, and their father just was an awful, awful man. Now, for those of you who do not watch The Vampire Diaries, the short story is that Michael finds out that he's not really Klaus's father. Their mother had a brief encounter with a werewolf. That's how she got pregnant with Klaus, which is why he is the hybrid, so he's werewolf and a vampire both at the same time. Once their dad Michael finds this out, he decides that Klaus is an abomination who needs to be destroyed. That's pretty much his line, like in their entire relationship. And yeah, you guys, the flashbacks to me of Michael were so deep, right? Because it just felt like the more I saw of Michael, the more you understand why Klaus is how he is. I mean, Klaus has done some crappy crap stuff, right? But there's one point when Cammy actually points out to him that he is doing to Rebecca exactly what their father did to him. And Klaus doesn't want to hear that, but then who does? You know, as you get older, kids, and people start to tell you that you're acting like your mom or your dad, you freak out because you're like, oh my god, I don't want to be like her / him. But you know, you wake up one day and you've become your parents. And I think that's the thing that Klaus was really kind of fighting against in this episode. By the end of the episode, the Mikaelson family all gets trapped together. So I mean, Elijah, Rebecca, and Klaus. Basically, through a spell that Celeste did, they all get trapped together in the graveyard. And the bad part about it is that it turns out that Klaus has got a white oak stake, which of course is the only thing that will actually kill an original. So he is planning to actually kill Rebecca. And that was the end of the episode, right? Is him seeing her and Elijah and him saying like, get away from her, she is mine. So yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next week because you know that Elijah's gonna do his best to try to protect Rebecca because, you know, Elijah's all about trying to keep the family together and trying to keep them from killing each other. Now, one other huge thing that happened in this episode is that Haley actually finally gets the spell that she needs to release her family from their werewolf curse. So I am very excited about that, mostly because that means we get to see more Jackson, and that makes me happy. Okay, you guys, what a fantastic episode this week. I will keep gushing about it more and more and more. Can't wait for next week. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Bye.